I'm David.
Hi, I'm Lucy.
Hi, and I'm Shameem Koser.
And welcome to this Christmas episode of the GR8 Minds Podcast. Today we'll be discussing some of the support that's available out there over the Christmas period, and also some of the things that we'll be getting up to over the next couple of weeks and the Christmas break. So, first of all, starting off on hopefully a nice light note, then are you looking forward to Christmas, and what are your plans over the Christmas break and that holiday period?
Yeah, so I finished work this week, so I'm quite lucky to have a little few weeks before the Christmas period. But I'm looking forward to just getting in my cozies now, because this cold weather's starting to come quick and fast. So getting into my comfy clothes and my PJs, putting a Netflix on and getting all the Christmas presents wrapped, and just spending quality time with either family or friends, just our loved ones around us. What about you, Shameem? What are you doing?
Same here, Lucy. I think I'm just ready to just relax and unwind and enjoy spending family time with my family, yeah. And I look forward to watching whatever's on TV and relaxing and enjoying the food that's we've got cooked, yeah.
I love that. I think I'll be doing a similar thing. I think, like you say, wrap it up warm and watching Christmas movies, something like that. Home Alone, Elf. They're always good Christmas movies and things like that. So I'll be watching those with my boys, and then looking forward to that Christmas time together, and some of the food and things like that, and just being around family. Are there any traditions that you do at this time of year, whether we celebrate Christmas or not, and what do you get up to that's become a tradition either in your family or in your friendship group or anything like that? Do we have anything set out that you do every year?
Well, I actually broke the tradition this year because I put up my tree super early. I did it first week of December, but my little girl was super excited, so we thought, you know what, while Dad's away, we'll get the Christmas tree out and the baubles and all the lights, because normally she's just had her birthday this weekend, so normally we try and leave it till, after birthdays are out of the way, and then start to celebrate Christmas. But I just thought, you know what, why not? It's the month of December, so I'm in the right month for it, so why not get in the festive spirit? I also have, it would be my mum's birthday, Christmas Eve. Sadly, she's no longer with us, but every year we will make an effort to go to the tree that we have for her and just either put some flowers or just spend some time there. So what's really nice to do is, although it's a lovely time at Christmas, for some people it's not, but it's also a time of reflection, and those times to just reflect on some of the memories and the happy times, and just, spending that time, although the person may not be there, you can go to a place where is a comfortable place that you can, feel a little bit of peace.
Thank you, Lucy. I think this is a time for reflection. December is thinking about what has happened throughout the year, reflect on what's been happening, and also look forward to the new year as well. So we reflect how we've grown within ourselves as a family, and what are the things that we look forward to do, and especially what Lucy just mentioned as well. There might be some families that have had lost people, family, close people in their lives, and it's about thinking about the time that they spent with them, also the good times that they spent with them, and also, yes, they have gone. It's remembering them with the special memories that you have with the loved ones that you have.
Yeah, definitely. In terms of traditions for myself, then again, I think some of ours have probably been broken. The one that will possibly be staying is that I'm quite lucky. We might get two Christmas dinners. So as our family of four, then we get a little Christmas dinner ourselves, and then we usually go around to my parents for a bigger family gathering, and get a second Christmas dinner there. Although the first one's a little bit smaller, because otherwise I think we'd probably explode with all that food. But do that. In the past, we used to as a family always go bowling on Boxing Day. That was our thing, but we've stopped doing that now. And we usually see my wife's side of the family, so I don't know whether we'll be doing that this year. And then, I don't know, Lucy might be able to link in with this. There's usually quite a lot of football over the Christmas and New Year period, so quite a lot that can take over. And my eldest boy is really into his football at the moment, so I'm sure we'll be going along to watch some football at some point. So yeah, that's our traditions over the Christmas time. As you've both mentioned, then there's all sorts of different reasons why Christmas can be a difficult time for young people. As we've mentioned, there can be bereavements that can make things harder. The first Christmas away from someone is particularly hard. Then there's lots of different things going on. It's a big change in routine, and there's so many different things going on sensory-wise. Then that can cause issues for lots of people, and it can really set us off a little bit and make us feel a bit uneasy about things and quite anxious. So I know that not everything will be running as usual over Christmas. There won't be all the services on, but there are still things out there, I'm sure. So we'll hopefully just go through a few of these things now.
Just coming back to what you just said there, David, it can be a very overwhelming time for children and young people. One of the services that is available for young people to connect with is Kooth.com, available 365 days a year. They have self-help articles written by other young people. They also have peer-to-peer support forums, which are always on their site. You can also have a chat with one of their counsellors who are available from 4 o'clock to 8 p.m, even on Christmas Day as well. So if any young people are struggling on Christmas Day, reach out to Kooth.com. And they do also have live forums, discussion topics, and also you can get them on our podcast. So there is a recording on Kooth and Quell. So if you go back onto one of our podcasts, you'll have information on Kooth as well.
Yeah, Olivia gave us some good information on that.
Yeah, there's also the Give Us a Shout text service that's available as normal throughout the Christmas period. And if anyone out there is struggling, all you need to do is text SHOUT to 85258 and someone will be in touch with you.
Yep, we know that it's a difficult time at the moment, particularly with the cost of everything and the cost of living. So there are a number of things that can support. Food banks are available in a number of areas. Each have their own opening times, but if you search for either Skipton Food Bank, Keighley Food Bank, Bingley, Ilkley and Settle, they all have their own versions of those food banks with different opening hours. Some of those you can access by a referral either from ourselves, from a GP, a social worker, job centre, Citizen Advice, loads of other places. And then there are some places that might not necessarily need that. So, for example, in Settle, there's a community fridge, which is based at the place. With that, it says that you can bring what you can and take what you need. So, if you've got anything that you can take along to the place, then great. And then you can take anything that you need from that community fridge. And that's at the place, which is in the commercial courtyard opposite the Ruchi restaurant. But yeah, there's others in the area. St Andrew's Church in Skipton is where Skipton Food Bank's based. Salvation Army in Keighley. There's one in Bingley at the Arts Centre, and Ilkley is at All Saints Parish Church.
There's also the Childline, so if you visit the website childline.org.uk, there's lots of useful self-help resources on there. There's lots of activities, games, things just to calm yourself down in a situation or just time for yourself. And they also have message boards and can signpost to other services if needed.
We also have information on Papayas. Papayas is a charity for young people who are struggling with suicidal thoughts. Their information is available online on their website. There is also a contact number and also a mobile number so that you can text them, also email them if you're struggling with any suicidal thoughts.
Perfect. Beat is another charity that has some information available. Anyone who's struggling with eating disorders, they've got support on there available by phone or online. They're available on weekends and bank holidays as well as any other day to offer a little bit of support. We know that can be a difficult time. We've already spoken a little bit about us looking forward to the food, but obviously if you're struggling with an eating disorder, it can be really difficult at this time of year. So they are available.
Also, the youth service, there is still things going on in your local communities at the youth groups. So just take a quick look on their social media pages. I'm sure they'll have things the events that are going on throughout the Christmas period. And then if unfortunately they're not running at the moment, they'll have the dates for the new year. But there's obviously a lot of different groups going on for different ages. So if you feel that that's something you'd like to get involved in, if you're not already involved in, then take a look on their local pages and try to get yourself involved.
Similar to that as well, Lucy, I think but it's worth checking with each group in your community. For instance, like Skipton, you have got the Selfa group. You also have the LS 29th youth group, Aware. We have the local community centres. We have Roshnigar. We have other services within your local community. It's good to look into what they're offering as well, especially at this time of year.
And then, as well as that, we've got some support that is not necessarily face-to-face on a website, but there's mobile phone apps that can really help with things like anxiety. Smiling Mind, Calm Harm, Headspace, Chill Panda. These are all examples of some apps that are available on iPhone, on Apple Store and Android as well. And some of those can be really useful. Have a look into those if you're struggling with anxiety or any other issues. Just have a search through and see what's out there.
I think just another website to also mention is the Mind website. They have some really useful tips as well as some of the services that we've mentioned earlier on in the podcast. Just of the go-to places that you can still access that support during the Christmas period. So please do take a look on their website. So anything that you may feel may be of benefit to you.
Yeah, there's other websites as well, aren't there? So the NHS website, they've got lots of support available on there, and of course there's the first response service. If anybody's struggling, then get in touch with them. All these things are available if you search for them online. The LGBT Foundation, they'll have some support on there for any young people. Calm, which is the campaign against living miserably, then they have things. There's so many services out there. It's just finding them and seeing what they've got on. Now, Lucy, you mentioned something there in the tips that might help and support young people on the Mind website. Now, with that probably links in to one of the next questions that I was going to ask, and that's: are there any things that we struggle with over the Christmas period? And if there are, then what things help us to cope with those struggles?
Yeah, well, we're all human. We're all, it's all that sometimes that big buzz and the busyness of the build up to Christmas. And on Christmas Day for us, we have quite a few people around, so it's making sure everyone's happy and everything's going well. But that's not always the case. There can be little family arguments, or something's not gone the way you hoped it was going to do. But the tips that we give all year round to some people are just step back, just calm yourself down. If you just need to remove yourself from the room for 5 minutes to compose yourself, that's okay. And like we've said before, we appreciate Christmas is a lovely time for for the majority of people, but for those people that struggle at that time of year, and I know there is a lot of people out there that do that, you know, we don't have to have the big commotion of Christmas, but it's always nice to touch base with someone. And I know, you know, not all our family live local or friends live local, but there's other ways of communicating with each other, whether you just pick up the phone, you know, you can send an email, we can do video calls now that, you know, a lot of people enjoy, just to keep yourself connected. So they're just some tips that I would give anyway.
And I think I agree with you, Lucy. I think it's good to set your own boundaries, isn't it, really, and try to say no to things that aren't helpful to you. And it's also about letting yourself experience your own feelings, even if you don't match what's going on around you. But they're still valid. And for example, if you don't feel like celebrating Christmas when everyone else does, but also plan ahead that Christmas is a day, and you might find it very difficult, but also plan after Christmas. Set some realistic goals of after Christmas, of what try to plan something nice to do after Christmas, having something to look forward to for next year. And it can make a real difference to you.
Definitely, yeah. And I know that sometimes it, you know, when I found it can be a difficult time. Then obviously you're worried about certain things coming up. Where seeing lots of people around, that can feel a little bit of a pressure situation. And then the quite common one is whether there's family arguments or something like that. Then there's always things that we can do for that. In terms of anxiety, sometimes it can be just planning beforehand and thinking about what things might I be able to talk about, what am I going to say about myself, what are the likely questions that other people might ask me, and having some answers prepared, and things that you can say back to them. I mean, having those questions almost prepared beforehand, before you see people. And with those plans also, knowing what you're going to do. We mentioned before that sometimes being out of routine is a little bit difficult, but if we know what the plan is for the day, that can make things easy. We know what we've got coming up and what to expect, so things don't feel quite as out of control as normal. Avoiding spending too much time on social media and looking at other people, what they're doing and nice things that they've got, I think is key, because I think that social media, it has its benefits and it's got good things about it, keeping in touch with people and so on. But yeah, seeing some of the other things, it's not always reality of how everything is, and sometimes we get that picture of it. Someone once described it to me as it's like an apple, and we only ever see the nice shiny side to the apple.
Yeah.
When actually, if we turn it round, then the back of it might be all rotten, and we don't get to see that side of things. We only get to see the side that people want to put out there, which might be that everything looks amazing, but they might have their own struggles, and they probably will do. So yeah, that's what I'd say. Try and avoid social media. In terms of family arguments as well, I'd say having a little bit of time away. There's nothing wrong with going for a break. You know, I'm just going to the toilet, or I'm just going to get this from the kitchen, and having 5 minutes out away from that situation where maybe the tension's building a little bit. And if you see it with other people, it could be if someone's arguing with someone, then you just say, oh, will you just come help me with this for 5 minutes? Go
a little bit of a distraction.
And have that little bit of a break away from things to cool off, and then hopefully that eases any tension when sometimes we can be getting on our nerves, get each other's nerves when we're all in that close environment, and lots of things going on.
I know another thing I do is take the dog for a walk. You know, you don't necessarily have to have a pet, but just getting out in the fresh air. I know it's cold now, but, you know, just get your layers on, just go for a walk, clear your head. You know, it's nice to just have a change of scenery, just time to yourself sometimes, because, you know, it's okay to be in a room full of people, but it's also nice, it's okay as well to have time to yourself. So have that as an option as well for you, because I know I'll definitely be taking my dog for a nice winter walk.
Yeah, and I suppose that's one of the things. It's finding what works for
Yeah.
you, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know some people will like to spend a little bit of time doing some Lego. Some people prefer listening to music or playing music. Some people want to be out doing something more active and burning off energy that way. And being active, obviously, is quite good for our mental health as well as physical health. But yeah, find what works for you and be aware of that for your own anxiety, and hopefully those things can help with anything that we're struggling with. Finally, to finish off with, let's finish off on a nice light note. What have our achievements of the last year been? You mentioned before that it was a really good time for reflection, Shameem,
Yeah.
and looking back on the last year, I think that's a good thing to do. What do we think our achievements of the last year have been? That can be at home, it can be at work. What would you say yours have been, Shameem?
I think if you're looking at reflection on a personal level, I think for us guys, we've grown with our podcasts. We're reaching out to young people, the audience out there. In a professional role, we're reaching out to young people within the services that we provide within schools, within the clinics. So it's a service that I think, reflecting on it, is where we started from the original plans and how it's evolved and how we're reaching out to a lot of people. And also growing within ourselves, learning from other people as well. I would say the key message for young people, children and young people, is that during this period, it might be a busy period, it might be an overwhelming period, or you might like spending time on your own. Ultimately, the schools will be closed, you will have families around you, but making that brave step of reaching out to some of the services that we mentioned today.
I think as a team, really, we've all really pulled together. We're really good support for one another. We're reaching out to young people in the local area and within the schools that we're working to, reinforce that message that it's okay not to be okay. And some of these feelings that people are having are, they won't last forever, but reaching out, to the social prescribing service, to the other external services, and just getting some of those self-care and self-help tools and resources to start to change how we are feeling, and that knowing that we are here, to offer that support for you and that people are there for you.
And for myself, I think achievements of the last year have, again, it include the podcast in there, and hopefully if anyone's listening, then it's supporting them with that, and also how the service has grown. Obviously, you both joined just over a year ago, and so the service has changed massively from where it was at before, and hopefully that'll continue to grow, and we'll be able to support young people across all of Wharfedale, Airedale and Craven, and I think some of the positive stories of young people, we love hearing back from young people who have been supported, whether it's been in our face-to-face sessions, in the GP practices, in schools, or whether it's through the podcast. If it's been any support to you, then let us know. It'd be really, really good to hear some of those stories, and we know that there's lots of them out there that have come back to us that it has been helpful for, which is a really nice feeling, and I see that as our biggest achievement. Personally, then I think an achievement would probably be my boys going off to school. My eldest is at school. My youngest has started at his little nursery or preschool this year, and they both seem to be happy and enjoying it, which is always a nice achievement as well. So yeah, I'm sure that all our families will be looking forward to Christmas time and having a lovely break there. So I think that wraps us up for 2022.
Definitely 2022.
And yeah, looking forward to what's to come in the new year. So thank you to anyone who's listened to this podcast or to any of our podcasts over the last few months. We'll be back in the new year. We've got some guests lined up who are going to be coming in to speak with us and tell you about services, and then some exciting plans for season 2 of our podcast as well, which we'll be looking forward to all to come in the new year. Other than that, we wish you a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Stay safe, link up with those services if you need them, and have a nice relaxing break. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Great Minds Podcast. If you have any questions that you would like us to answer on the show, please get in touch via our Instagram page at the Great Minds Podcast, and we'll do our best to answer your question the next time we record. If you would like to find out more about Great Minds and WACA, please visit our website www.greatminds.co.uk. Until next time, you've been listening to the Great Minds Podcast. Speak soon.